arguments are against this to make it lower, but they're all personal opinions. There's nothing better than the first day that you get your license. That is one day that you will never forget, and I know that I won't. What if I told you that you were a terrible driver and that you definitely weren't ready to be out on your own, making life or death decisions? Motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death for teens in the U.S., according to teendrivingsource.org. A total of 2,163 teens from ages 16 to 19 die every year from car crashes. That is over 5 teen deaths a day. And if you aren't careful, you too could become a statistic. In being a teen driver myself, I understand the wonderful feeling of having your license and the freedom that comes with it. I thought that I was ready to drive by myself when I had my permit, and I wanted the driving age to be lowered. But I wasn't thinking rational and for my safety and for others around me. I know what it's like to be surrounded by bad teen drivers, and I see it every day at school. But the hotly debated topic of the perfect driving age affects not only the teens, but everyone around them. A reckless teen driver puts everyone in danger. So what is the perfect driving age, and how can it be discovered? Every time that you set foot in a motorized vehicle could be the last. You never know what could happen out on the highway, or even pulling out of your own driveway. This must be brought into consideration when turning teens loose with undeveloped brains out on the road. It is a proven fact that the decision-making part of the brain does not fully develop until you turn 25. And recent research supports that adult and teen brains function differently. Adults make quicker and more rational decisions out on the road, and this is highly needed. You need to be able to do this when you're out on the road in order to not wreck and to be a safe driver. So many problems that surround teens that range from the brain being undeveloped to being distracted while driving. Their phone and passengers in the vehicle. And when putting into consideration the underly developed brains, teens can also make bad decisions about things, example for underage drinking and texting while driving. These are just a few of the teen car wrecks that I found online from texting and driving. And then many teens could be out drinking and have to be home by a certain time and be afraid to tell their parents that they have been out drinking and take the risk of driving home. But be afraid and take the risk of driving home over the risk of getting in trouble with your parents. After all, taking this risk in consideration, there are a few states in which the legal driving age is 14 or 15 years old. In Idaho, the legal driving age is 14, and the crash rate among teens 16 to 19 is 13.9%. But in New Jersey, the driving age is 17, and the crash rate is only 6.2%. And that cuts the crash rate in half just with 2 more years of maturity. And this just proves that a few more years of maturity can drastically drop the crash rate and save teens' lives and other people on the road every day. And I got a story. My cousin, she had her license for 2 weeks, and she thought that she was the best driver that there was. She didn't think that there was anyone better than her. And she got a new dog, and she wanted to take it to her friend's house. But her parents wouldn't let her because they were afraid of the dog getting loose and distracting her in the car. Well, it was an exam week, and she was home by herself, and she wanted to show her friend her dog. So she drove over to her friend's house. And she had the dog in the cage, but the dog got out of the cage, and it was running around in the floorboard of the car. And it got down around the pedals, and she was messing with the dog. She ran off the road, and she hit a tree and totaled her car. And this just shows that teens don't make rational decisions while driving, and that they need to have more years of maturity to decrease accidents like this. I strongly believe that the only way to decrease these accidents is to raise the driving age, not intensely, but enough to give teens plenty of time to mature and fully develop their brains. When deciding the driving age, you must take all factors into consideration and think about the families and other citizens who use public roads. Laws like being home before 9 and having less than one friend in the car helps keep teen drivers safe now. But if we give them more time to mature, then there will be less laws like this that need to be made, because the teens will be able to make these decisions on their own and do it safely. I believe that the best driving age would be 18, because when a teenager turns 18, they are considered an adult, and the brain is mostly developed and also because the crash rate per mile is 3 times higher for 16 to 17-year-olds than it is compared to 18 and 19-year-olds. We must keep every human as safe as possible by having regulations for teen drivers to ensure the lives of everyone. Increasing the driving age helps out everyone who drives because there will be more alert and mentally ready drivers on the road, and this will save lives no matter how upset teens are about waiting. In conclusion, I would like to say that driving is a privilege, but it is also very dangerous, and an accident can change the lives of many. As much as I love driving myself around, I would gladly wait a few more years to ensure my personal safety and that of others. Thank you. And I have like some charts that show like this is like distractions and like what's the main distractions among teen drivers. And then this one is just another one, but it's like split up between male and female, and like the blue is with passengers and